Hey guys, and welcome back to the Imperfect Podcast. I'm so excited for this episode. Funny story, this was already recorded and then my smart self somehow magically lost it. I mean, Sophia was literally with me and she saw me save it twice. But it disappeared forever and I couldn't find it. So we're trying again, and this time it's going to be different and better, and I'm not going to lose it.
Hopefully not.
I'm not going to lose it. This is like, I can't lose it again. That would be so embarrassing.
I'd be so mad if you lost it again.
Yeah, I know. But that's fine because then that gives us another excuse to record one of our amazing conversations. So the first thing that before I even get into what we're talking about in today's episode, look, girls, guys, I'm so out of it, I forgot my whole routine. So anyway, in today's episode, I have one of my best friends of I don't even know how many years. This girl's like my sister. 3 years. It feels so much longer than 3 years, but this girl's like my sister. Her name is Sophia Kaminaris, and I will now hand it over to her and let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Hey y'all. Like she said, I'm Sophia. Me and Gabby have known each other for 3 years. I go to college in Virginia Beach. I'm a theater major. That's pretty much it. The way we met is hysterical. We'll probably get into that later.
Yeah, that's actually the question. So.
Okay.
Share with us how we first met.
Great. So how we first met. So I like anybody else like to eavesdrop and be nosy. So me and Gabby were both off stage because the director was blocking a scene that neither one of us in. Background. We're doing a show. We're doing Addams Family. We were both in Addams Family together.
We were both ensemble characters.
Yes. Yeah. But both of us were ancestors. And so we're sitting off stage and they're blocking a scene that neither one of us are in. And I'm sitting next to her on like this couch. And again, me being nosy looks over at her phone and sees that she follows Daniel Seavey, which is one of the members of the band Why Don't We? If you don't know who they are, go listen to them. They're great. But anyway, so I look at her phone and I see that she follows Daniel Seavey. And I'm like, oh my God, you follow Daniel too? And at that point, like we both like flipped. We flipped. We're like, oh my God, like, you know who Why Don't We is. Mm-hmm. Like, because at that point, they were still like small-ish.
Small-ish, yeah.
Small-ish. Like they had come out with stuff, but they definitely were not where they are now.
Right.
Yeah. So they were like small-ish. So we both kind of like flipped out. And yeah, now we have seen them in concert and met them together.
Yeah, which happened 2 years ago. So we hadn't even known each other.
Yeah. 2019, August 5th, 2019.
I cannot believe that was 2 years ago. That literally feels like yesterday.
That's crazy. That was the best 20 seconds of my life, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I vlogged the whole thing and it's taken me 2 years to edit the video, but I talk through the whole meet and greet process. So if you are interested, let me know and I will work harder to get that uploaded. Actually, let's just go into it now because I'm probably not going to upload the video. Honestly. Okay, so we turn the corner and all the guys are in this, I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a little like nook in the wall.
So like somebody made like a horseshoe shape out of the side of it and they were standing in like this horseshoe like divot in the wall.
Yeah, like nook thing. And so we turn the corner and you hug the first two guys or the first three and then they turn you around, you take a picture, you hug the last two and you leave. This process, so they were already running behind. So we were already incredibly rushed and you know, all you do is hug them and take a picture. So the whole meet and greet is not very long.
Right.
And then on top of that, it was rushed. So it quite literally was like 20 seconds with them. You hugged them, you said I loved you, you turned around, you took a picture, and then you walked out, and then they cut your wristband. So Sophia and I didn't even get to keep our wristbands, but fortunately our moms did, and you could take pictures outside
Like
of
the meet and greet
right.
itself.
So you
So
could
like
take videos and pictures outside of the picture that their photographer was taking. So that was cool. I got good content for the vlog that I'm probably never uploading. I could surprise myself. You never know.
you could. You totally could.
Yeah. Overall, the whole concert was really great. They're great guys. They're so genuine. Definitely check them out because they're just the absolute best.
Yeah. I totally agree with Gabby. They're very genuine. They have come a long way. So unlike Gabby, I saw them before. I saw them on their second tour that they had ever done. The concert was only 45 minutes long because they sang every song that they had put out. At that point, they had only put out 3 EPs, and each of them maybe had like 5 or 6 songs. So they just sang all the songs that they had out, and that was it. Like there was nothing else. Yeah, so shortest concert I've ever been to in my life. Still had a lot of fun. Way smaller of a venue. I want to say it was like, I don't know, maybe like 300 people in that venue. Like it was tiny.
Yeah, compared to like Royal Farms Arena or Pier 6
or like Madison Square Gardens, because they've sold out MSG twice. So unlike those places that have like thousands of seats, well, obviously probably not Pier 6. Pier 6 probably has like 2,000 if I had to guess.
Yeah, plus
because they have the lawn.
Right.
Yeah, so Pier 6 can probably fit about like 2,000 people. But yeah, I saw them on their second tour that they did to their most recent tour that they did. And to see the growth was incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally different show. Like totally different show, different vibe. Like still the same 5 guys. And obviously now, okay, I'm just gonna say this now. They put out a new album in January, and now their show is gonna completely change again because they're all playing instruments instead of having choreography.
I will be honest, I'm going to miss the choreography, but I'm really excited that they're kind of giving us that real band vibe, I guess. Instead of just a boy band, they're just a band. And I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for this new chapter. I know that it's something that they've wanted for a long time. So I'm excited to kind of see that chapter for them really come to life.
Yeah, no, I'm totally there with you. Like I said, from seeing the growth from their beginning to where they are to where they were on the 8 Letters tour was incredible. And then to see them go from 8 Letters to the good times and the bad ones.
Right.
I don't think it'll be as big of a shift. It'll still be a shift.
Yeah.
But like I'm here for it. It was a great album. So I'm excited to see what they do for it.
Yeah. So one thing that I was asked on Instagram was how, we kept in touch over quarantine and after you went to college and I was still here, especially, after your family was moving around. How have we kept in touch through all of that?
I'll be honest, FaceTime has been our number one best friend. Before, like obviously this semester we have not been talking as much. Last semester, I would say we talked every day. Yeah. In the fall, we talked every day. And then in terms of quarantine, like I like quarantine, we talked every day. So I think just FaceTime and like checking in on each other, the best way that we stayed in quarantining. Right. I mean, obviously outside of hanging out. I mean, even though we only hung out, like 3 times?
Yeah.
Over all the quarantine, like we still like kept in touch, which helped to maintain how close we are now.
Yeah. And another thing that we did was I have Netflix. So I gave Sophia my password and we did Netflix party and had movie nights like on Fridays after a long week or really just whenever. And there's a chat feature too, so we can kind of react to whatever we're watching as we're watching. And we'd also FaceTime as we watch the movie just so that, if we didn't feel like typing something, we could, unmute and then talk to each other. But honestly, communication's like been the number one thing for us. And like she said, this semester we haven't really talked a whole lot just because, we've both been really, really busy with school just because we're getting really close to the end of the year. And, like she said, it's my junior year in high school. It's her senior year. It's her freshman year in college. So, a lot is happening. We're figuring out a lot this year. So talking has been not as frequent, but we still do communicate. And even if we can't FaceTime, we do still text and update each other on literally everything that happens, just to make each other feel like we're right there with them.
Yeah. This semester, I know on my end, I have classes, plus I work for my school, which we'll probably get into later. I work for my school, plus I'm in a show. So, like, I really, like, have this, like, a very small amount of time in a day to like to just do what I want to do.
Right. And it's hard because our classes aren't like at the same time now because, you know, she's got what, 4 classes a day and I have 9.
I have 2. Yeah,
So
I have 2 classes a day.
Yeah, 2 classes a day, but they're like twice as long as high school classes.
Well, for you, for me, they're shorter because my classes are an hour and 15 minutes, and then in high school they were an hour and 24. So they're like a little bit shorter than mine were in high school.
Okay, yeah, my classes are 55 minutes.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So mine are longer than yours, but they're shorter than mine.
Right.
We went to 2 different high schools.
Right. So, you know, our classes, our schedules don't really line up during the day, so it makes it difficult to FaceTime all the time. And then on top of that, we have like all the schoolwork and the shows and whatever, because I'm in a show too. So it's been hard this semester to FaceTime every day, but we still do make sure to update each other, which I think is really helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
So earlier you mentioned when you were introducing yourself that you are a theater major. So what exactly does that mean? Like, what are you doing in school? What are your favorite classes? Let us know what's happening.
Okay, so fun fact, I actually like officially declared my major last week.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So like I've been saying that I'm a theater major, but I actually didn't do all the paperwork and go through the process until the end of last week. So now I am officially a theater major. I declared it. So basically, like obviously being a theater major means that that's what I'm going to get a degree in 4 years. And I just have to, and I take all of these theater classes. So like I'm in 2 right now. The 2 that I'm in right now are tech theater, which basically just covers every like technical aspect. So like building sets, designing costumes, hair and makeup, props, lighting, sound, all of that. Like all like that class covers all of that ground. And then the other class I'm in is theater history part 2. I did not have to take part 1 before I took part 2. They're 2 different time periods. So theater history part 2 is basically from like right after Shakespeare till now, like present day. So I mean that's been really interesting just to read, because part of my classes I have to read different plays from like the time periods like as we progress to more recent times.
Right.
So it's been very interesting to like see like the different styles of writing and the different kinds of plays that were produced. You said favorite class, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, it's probably theater history.
That's awesome. Why is that?
Okay, so the reason for that is, although I am not a big fan of history, this kind of history is not like world history or United States history, where like it revolves around significant events. It's more of like a progression timeline. Like it's kind of like an evolution timeline, where like you start with it's like you start with an original idea. And then you kind of watch it evolve and take different forms as you go down the line. So it's not at all like your typical history class. It's also very like discussion oriented, which I like personally because I'm a very opinionated person. Yeah, I'm a very opinionated person. So it's nice to just kind of be able to like get my input out there and just to see like what people say about it, and like also to kind of bounce off of other people's opinions, whether you agree or disagree. It's really nice. Plus, I love the professor. But yeah, I love my professor so much. She's actually my advisor for my major. I chose her to be my advisor. Yeah.
Tell us more about your internship that you're doing with your school.
Oh, okay. So my job, so I am under like, okay, so there's obviously like work study. So I qualified for work study. So my school actually has 2 different options. So you can do like federal work study, which means you get paid every 2 weeks, like paycheck, or they call it campus cooperative. And basically, so like you still make the same amount of money. You make the same amount of money either way, but it's just how they pay you. Like federal work study means that you get paid in paychecks every 2 weeks. Campus cooperative means that the same amount of money gets put to your student account and helps to pay off your tuition. I did that because I know myself, and if I was given a paycheck, I would spend it. Like I know myself. I know I would spend the money as soon as it got into my hand. There's 7 of us. I'm the youngest. There's 3 juniors, 3 seniors, and me. So I'm the little baby. But yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So my job, my job kind of varies because we have like events and stuff outside of like what our school puts on. Like we'll have like keynote speakers come. We'll have like concert pianists come and like play because we have a really really nice concert grand piano. We have a Steinway, which is like if you know pianos, they're like top of the line, like best piano you could ever play. Yeah, so we have one of those in our theater. So we have like people come and use that. Like we just have people come through outside of what the school puts on. So our job kind of varies, like if there are any events going on, like if we need to prep for a show, like just different little things like that. I mean, they're not, it's some of them are like tedious little things, but like the majority of them are like big projects that like will take like a few weeks to do. And so right now all 7 of us had to pick like a big project that covers the entirety of the semester to work collaboratively on with our boss. And I love my boss. He's super awesome. And so my project that I chose to work on is so like I said, keynote speakers and like concert musicians, and sometimes we'll have like local like orchestras come and use our facility. And so in order for them to use it, they have to rent it out. But the rental process right now is super complex. It goes through like 4 different people. There's lots of negotiating that needs to be done. And so me and my boss right now are actually working on a way to simplify that. Meaning like there's one contract, it only goes through one person. There's set prices. So like we're trying to make it as easy and user friendly for outsiders.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah. We just finished the spreadsheet for like pricing everything out because we made like a spreadsheet of how much we would want to charge for everything. Like not even just like the things that people can use, but also for like if they need like extra people like us that work there to help work their event, we're getting paid out of their pockets. So we had to figure out the wage for that. Yeah. So basically we just made a big spreadsheet of like how much we're going to charge for everything. And then the cost, like let's say, for example, let's say they broke our concert grand while they were playing it. We put the cost of how much it would be to replace. Be like, if you damage this is how much it's going to be to replace, so don't mess with our stuff. Like
right. Yeah,
like that type of thing. So it basically is kind of like we are letting you use our stuff, don't take advantage of it.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah. We talked about some exciting stuff for the fall for me. Can't quite share that yet, but yes, I could have a very exciting job in the fall.
That's so fun, and I cannot wait to hear about that off the record.
Yay.
Okay, so the next thing I want to get into is our age difference.
Okay.
So like we've mentioned, she is a freshman in college and I am a junior in high school. So how has our age difference really impacted our relationship?
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. Outside of our difference of opinions and just like how we would handle different situations, it doesn't affect us much at all. Yeah, I mean, like
I honestly forget. Like that's why I said that she was a senior earlier. Like I literally forget all the time that she's 2 years older than me.
Yeah,
that's how you do math. Because
yeah,
because my brother is a senior in high school right now, so I just assume everyone who's older than me is his age. But also Sophia and I are just so close that I feel like the difference doesn't really matter a whole lot.
No, and it doesn't matter a whole lot, but like I said, when it comes to like different situations that so like when it comes to different situations that either Gabby's in or I'm in, obviously a lot of the situations that Gabby is in, I have gone through. So I see them a different way than she does. And right. So like I'll be in a situation all the way over here at college that she like can't fathom ever happening, but I am the one present. So like it's a big difference of opinion thing. And I think that is probably like the biggest like flaw. I mean, I guess that's what you would call it of our age difference, is that we just have a massive difference of opinions when it comes to certain situations.
Yeah.
Because we're in two very different parts of our life. Gabby's in high school, I'm in college.
Yeah. And so we experience things differently. So, I feel like when you think of like the stereotypical best friend, they're the same age. They kind of go through life together. And for me and Sophia, she just does it 2 years before I do. But, then she can help see me through those situations if I find myself in them. So, and like she can still come to me for advice, and we still help each other to the best of our abilities through, everything that we go through. So I think it's a difference of opinion, like she was saying, but also just a difference of where we are in our lives. But at the end of the day, we are still, we still got each other's back through everything. And
oh yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, like Gabby was saying, like I still to this day come to Gabby for advice. Like even though she's 2 years younger than me, there are some times where like this is so if any of you ever if any of you know me or if any of you ever meet me, you'll find out very quickly that I get into my own head and I psych myself out a lot. And so like I will have an idea on what to do in a situation, but in my head I like keep going back and forth of whether or not it's a good idea. So I'll come to Gabby and be like, listen, this is my idea. So like please tell me if this is good or not. Because in my head, like I said, I like to psych myself out. So I like it's basically like tug of war in my head where like I keep going back and forth like should I do this, should I not, like pros, cons, like in my head the pros and the cons never outweigh one another. They are always equal. So like there are some times where I just need a second opinion.
Right. And one thing that's really, really huge in our friendship is honesty. When she's being crazy, I am the first to call her out for being crazy. And vice versa. But yeah, like if you see your friend struggling with something, you've got to be honest with them. You got to be straight up and be like, hey, like you're being ridiculous. Like there's, whatever, just like that. Like I know Sophia sometimes doesn't always feel pretty, but in my opinion and what I think everyone else's opinion is, she's one of those people who are just naturally gorgeous, and she will call BS on that as many times as I say it. But honestly, when she needs, to be hyped up, I'm the first person to hype her up. And when she's being crazy about something and overthinking something, like I'm the first to talk her out of that too. So you just really got to have your besties back no matter what.
Yeah. And I mean, like I'm the same way with Gabby. If Gabby one day is just like, I looked in the mirror today and I hated what I see, which I do a lot, like Gabby said, I'll be like, listen, shut your mouth and let me speak some facts. Like I am the first to call Gabby out when she's tripping or when she is feeding herself lies. I'm like, listen, like, stop.
Yeah, and I always say this to Sophia, but your opinion of yourself is always going to be a lot worse than everyone else's opinion of you because you are your biggest critic. Like it is a known fact that we as humans eat away at ourselves. That's why we have insecurities. So what I do as a friend is I try very hard to make sure she knows that the people around her do not think the same way about her that she does, and that, the way that she thinks is going to be a little sour, but that's just human nature. And, everyone around her loves her the way that she is. And then, of course, I give her examples of how many times she's popped off because she's an absolute queen. And, even when she's not feeling down, and she needs a hype girl, like, of course you got to build her up even when she's already standing as tall as she possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, lately, like, as far as that goes, like, these past few days, I've been in a really good headspace.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that has not been as bad, but as Gabby knows, it's a wave. It just is up and down.
Mm-hmm. And you've gotta stick with them when they go through their waves. And that goes for any friendship, any relationship. Like if someone's going through something, you've got to stick with them. If you really love them, like you've got to stick with them. Like their battles become your battles almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like with how close Gabby and I are, that's kind of how it is. But like if you and your friend are not as close as me and Gabby are, then obviously like that might not be the case. But still, like if they're going through something and you truly care, even just an ounce about them, you gotta be there for them.
Right.
You got to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, all we have is each other. So why wouldn't you be there for someone?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, regardless of, color, gender, age, whatever, like at the end of the day, all we have is each other. So
right.
be nice. That's really it. Just be nice and be supportive and loving. Yeah. Speaking of, just thinking of good things like being nice. The next thing I want to get into is something I actually found on TikTok. And I had been meaning to do it, but I forgot. And then put it off, of course, and then, lost it in my camera roll and whatever. Made up all these excuses as to why not to do it. And it's called the 10-10-10 challenge. And basically what this thing is you make a list, you number 10, leave a line, another 10, leave a line, and then a third group of 10. And the first group is, your top 10 greatest desires. And then the second group is 10 things that you're grateful for. And the last group is 10 things that you love to do. So we don't have to write them down. I just want to kind of say this out loud. And for you guys listening at home, like if you want to get a piece of paper and do this with us, by all means do it. I think it's a great way to kind of, take a look at life and realize that like there are plenty of things to be grateful for, plenty of things to look forward to. So yeah, what are your top 10 greatest desires?
That's such a hard one.
I know it is, but
like that is such a hard one.
Then let's change it from desires to goals. What are 10 goals that you have, or like 10 things on your bucket list?
10 goals.
Yeah.
That I have to prove my family wrong. But long story short, my family hates the fact that I'm a theater major. Mm-hmm. So I would love one day to be able to laugh in their face and say, "Ha ha, I did it." So to prove my family wrong, like I really like don't have 10.
Okay, so what are just some?
Okay, to prove my family wrong. This one kind of goes along with it. To make it, like in the theater industry. Wow. To make it, to see myself the way everybody else sees me, which has been an ongoing thing. I hope I do. And to be content with my life.
I like those. I like that a lot. I know mine, to release more music is a goal, to get more people on my podcast and to make this, to grow the podcast, to grow my music, just to grow as an influencer. One of my really big goals is to be in the media in some way, shape, or form, to be a face in the media, because I have a birthmark. You guys heard a lot about it in my episode with Chelsea. But it would mean so much to me if I could be, if I could be on TV for some reason, for like something I did, like for the podcast or for my music, or do a TED Talk or something crazy like that. But I so badly want people who are like me to be able to look at me and be like, okay, so she's like me, she has this difference, and she was able to look past that and become something. Because I know growing up, like it was when I was being bullied, I mean, I feel like more people than who should get bullied. And I feel like when we're put down by somebody like that, we just feel powerless. And I want to be able to, be a face that people look up to and they say like, okay, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it, that kind of thing. And I feel like there's not many people in the media, at least not people who are, household names, which I know is a very big goal. But I want to be well known so that I can help people realize that the way that you look, or the way that you talk, or the way that, you go about your life, it doesn't matter. Like if you have a goal, you can accomplish it. And that's a huge thing that I advocate for. And I want people to be able to find that within themselves. And if I can help them find that, just by doing what I love and spreading positivity, then by all means, I want to accomplish that. I don't know. I mean, I really think that's it. Just to become something so that people have someone to look up to in a way that's different from, everyone else, because I am different from everyone else, but I own that and I want to become something because of it. And also music. I love music, and I I write songs that are like very relatable, but that I think are pretty good, and I'd love to share those messages with people.
They're sad.
Not all of them. I'm getting better. Not all of them. Oh my goodness. Sophia calls me out for that all the time because the majority of my songs are sad, but that's because I find the most inspiration when I'm sad, but they're getting better. They all sound sad, but not all of them have sad messages. But yeah, I think those are, two really big ones.
What's the second category?
The second category is things that you're grateful for.
The things that I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
My friends,
Mm-hmm.
my family,
Me too.
the opportunities I've been given in terms of like my like acting career. Because I've played some great roles and I've played some really bad roles.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful to like I'm actually grateful for the bad roles. All of them have been a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful like for what I have in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like material things. Like I know that sounds so narcissistic and like so like narcissistic and materialistic, but like I'm grateful for what I have in like material things because I know that there are people that do not have anything close to what I have. So I'm very thankful for what I do have.
I mean, I'm right there with you, like as far as, friends and family go and opportunities and what I love. I feel like especially with this podcast I've been able to reach out to people I know who are really good at specific things, and not only to talking to them, help the people who are listening, but before all of you listen to the episodes, I sit through them and I learn just as much as you guys do. And I think um, it's just the people that I've been able to meet and the opportunities that I've been given. I'm so grateful for them. And I think that's another thing with, why I want to be in the music industry so bad is because I feel like I want to give back to people. And that's how I know how to do it is through music, which I think is really really special. Like I want to be a music therapist. That's what I want to go to school for. That's what I want to become. And I want to be able to do what I love to help people, just in everyday life.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my abilities.
Mhm.
Like not only just for my acting, singing, dancing ability, but like I'm just grateful like for the fact that like Gabby will tell you I'm a good listener,
Mhm.
but I'm just grateful for like to have the abilities that I have like in terms of like not only socializing with other people but like just being me myself.
Mhm.
I'm just grateful for all of that. I think I named them. Like I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, me either. I feel like you and I have so much life ahead of us too. Like I feel like there's so much ahead of us to be grateful for, and I'm grateful for the chance that, I get to wake up every morning and, experience the things that I end up being grateful for.
Mhm.
And the last category is things that you love to do.
Things I love. Is it 10 things I love to do?
Or just however many.
Okay, things I love to do. Would you count theater as one or like three separate ones? Act, sing, dance.
Um,
Because I like to do all three of them together and separately.
then I'd count them as separate things.
Okay, I love to act. I love to sing. I love to dance. Gabby very well knows that I love to sing. Sing
Yes.
all the time. I love to hang out with my friends.
Me too.
I love lettering. just like different like styles of lettering.
You do?
Yes, I do.
That's awesome. I didn't know
If,
that.
if you were to stare, okay, so I have a big like desk calendar on my desk. If you were to stare at it, there's 5 different fonts on it.
I love that.
There's 5 different fonts that I've written in. I love to make people smile.
Me too.
I love to laugh. I love just being artistic in general.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Um,
I like to cook and I like to bake.
I like dressing up, like getting fancy, like getting dressed to the nines, like the whole process of doing your hair. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I'm totally down for just like casual stuff there, but to me there is something about getting dressed to the nines that like I love.
I think this one goes for both of us, but we like to go on adventures.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The spontaneity of an adventure is incredible.
Yeah. So
I
Sophia and I have a lot in common.
Yes.
We do have a lot in common. One thing that Sophia and I like to do together when we're on FaceTime, sometimes this happens at like, I don't even know, 1 or 2 in the morning. Don't tell my mom. But we like to ask each other deep questions and give like very thorough answers. So I had Sophia compile a list of 3 for us to end this episode with. The first one that she came up with is, do you like who you are right now? Would you like to answer first, or would you like me to answer first?
I'll answer first.
Okay.
That's a low, like, I saw that question, like, when I was looking at them, and I was like, that's such a loaded question. Because to say that you like yourself as you are right now means, like, that you like every little thing. Which Gabby knows for me is such a hard thing to admit to.
I do agree that it means that you like every little thing, but I also disagree with that, and here's why. When you are in a relationship with someone or a friendship with someone, there's always going to be one thing that you don't like, or that, drives you a little bit nuts. There's always going to be one thing. But I feel like your love for that person casts out that thing that you don't like. And so I think this question is very general. I feel like it can be very general. It can also be very, very specific and talk about, the little things like you were talking about. But I also feel like this question is like, in this moment, are you satisfied? Are you content? Are you happy with, the way that your life is? Are you happy with where you are physically, mentally, like those kinds of things?
Right. No, I mean, if you were to turn this into like a yes or no question, I mean, for me it'd be yes.
Me too.
Obviously, I could go down the mile-long list of things that I would say no, but as a whole, and just in general terms, I would say yes.
Yeah, I think I would too. I feel like right now, even though life can be kind of stressful, I feel like I feel very hopeful for a lot of things. And I don't know if it's because my school went to 75%. I don't know if it's because, I'm going on a retreat with my Bible study. I don't know if it's because of the things that are happening in my life, or, life around the world. I feel this sense of hope and this sense of just like joy that, I don't know. I feel very content. And I feel like even though I am stressed, like, I know at the end of the day I'm going to be okay. And I feel like that is just like the breath of fresh air that I need to get
right. I mean, like, for me, I've been very happy lately. Whether it's because of one thing or another, like, I'm in a show, like, I have not performed since December of 2019. So, like, to be able to do what I absolutely love with my entire being again is amazing, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
Or just that I, like, have, like, a solid friend group that, like, even though I still don't see them as much, like, we're still all, like, super close, and we hang out. Or that I've made new friends. Like, it could be any of those things, but, like, I've just been very happy recently, and I've been in a very good headspace.
Yeah, me too.
Now, obviously, I have my moments. For example, this weekend had a whole moment, but overall, as a whole, like, I've been very happy, and I've been in a very good headspace recently.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I feel like there are some times that I feel so numb. That's been my thing. I don't necessarily get sad anymore.
It's just numb.
I just feel numb to the world, which, isn't the best thing ever, but I get through it. I always get through it. And I think that's the thought of getting through it is what keeps me going. And honestly, I'm thankful for the people I'm surrounded by, because they definitely help. But yeah, I think overall, Sophie and I are both kind of in a really, really good headspace, which is really good.
Yeah.
So the second question is, what's something you would have told me when we met if you knew how my life was now?
I know exactly what I would told you.
Okay, go ahead.
Men are not worth it.
Yeah.
They're not. Do not waste your time on them. Even though I can't talk because I'm currently seeing somebody, but, like, just in general, men suck.
Yeah,
I want to know what you would have told me, knowing where I'm at right now, what I've been through. I would have loved. I would love to know.
Well, judging by when I met you, it wasn't the best of times. So I would have sat you down and I would have looked at you in the eyes and been like, you're going to get through this. You're going to be proud of yourself. And you're going to be at a place where you finally feel good. And, that doesn't mean you feel perfect, but you feel good. And like you said, you're in a really great headspace. Like you feel good. And, you know, do you feel like weighted down by anything right now? Like immensely?
Not immensely, but like there are some times where like school rehearsals and like trying to still maintain a social life will kick my butt.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big balancing act like will sometimes kick my butt.
Mm-hmm. But I would have sat you down and I would have told you that you're going to be proud of yourself and that you're going to find this new sense of maturity, this new sense of adulthood, that you hadn't known when I met you. And
Right.
I feel like you would have needed to hear that you're going to get through it and you're going to, accomplish great things and that you're going to be proud of yourself, because I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that you definitely should hear a lot, is that, I'm proud of you and I think you should be proud of you too. And I think you are. Honestly, I think you are. And if you're not, you should be, because you are doing great things.
I have my moments where I'm like, wow, like you did that. Like pop off, sis.
Hmm.
But most of the time I just don't even think about it. Like I just give it no time of day and I give it no mind.
Yeah. I think you should tell yourself that you're doing a good job. I think you should be like, I'm proud of you, Sophia, because you should be. You definitely should be.
Thank you.
Of course. And the last question to end us off for the night, is what's a phrase that you live by? I love this question. I really do. I really love
I
this
have
question.
two.
You have two?
I have two.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one is live the life you love.
Yeah, that's one of mine too.
If you don't love your life, then you're living it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am such a heavy believer in that. Live the life you love. If you're not loving the life you live, you're living it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like you okay, don't get me wrong. It's okay to have regrets, but at the end of the day, you should be able to look back at everything that you've done and not have anything weigh you down to the point of being like, I wish I never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you did it, it happened, it taught you something.
Right.
Yeah, you did it, it happened, it taught you something. So like
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you're not loving the life you live, you're living it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my first one. My second one, Gabby's going to like a lot again because of the whole like self-image thing
Mm-hmm.
that my whole big self-image problem that I have. A real girl isn't perfect and a perfect girl isn't real.
Yes. And that one explains itself. And honestly, in this day and age, I feel like it's so easy to fall into, you know, those stereotypes and into thinking that, you're supposed to look a certain way or feel a certain way. But honestly, like, perfect girls aren't real. And that goes for guys too. Perfect people aren't real. I did a motivational Monday thing for, the Vascular Birthmarks Foundation, and I can't remember if I talked about it or not. But I said that the idea of perfect and the idea of normal are both illusions. Honestly, because normal is different for everyone. And you have no place to tell someone what their normal is or what their normal should be. And perfect, as far as perfect goes, it's such a bad word. It's such a bad word because it paints such an unrealistic picture in everyone's mind. And the best perfect that you can be is imperfect. That's why this podcast is called the Imperfect Podcast, because I don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay. And I'm having fun and I'm learning, and I hope that you guys who are listening are learning and having fun. And I don't know, I feel like no one should strive to be perfect, because you're never going to get anywhere if you
Mhm.
try to be perfect. Because if you set the bar and the bar is where perfect is, that bar is just going to keep rising, because
Exactly. I
yeah.
mean, like if you set the bar too perfect,
Mhm.
you're never gonna hit it.
Yeah.
You are like I would know this better than anybody. You are Gabby can tell you. I have gone through time and time again phases where I thought that I had to be perfect and I kept striving to be perfect and it got to the point where I realized I was never gonna hit it.
Mhm.
Like you're not.
Yeah.
You will every single time you think you're perfect, you're gonna find something wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think you're perfect, good for you. But like, we're not all Barbie dolls. Like, we're not all Barbie dolls. We weren't all factory made to look the same. We're different.
Yeah. And that was on purpose. Like, imagine a world where everyone looked the same and sounded the same and walked the same. Like, that would be so boring. That world would be so boring. I know I wouldn't want to live in that world. Like, if everything was, one color, if everything was gray, like, I feel like that world would be so boring. We'd just all be these like inhumane robots, and that's no fun at all. So I think that about wraps up this episode, and I'm gonna leave us on a good note and just kind of sum up what we talked about, especially towards the end. But perfect does not exist, so stop striving for it and be realistic. And it's okay to not be perfect and to not be okay. Like, it's okay to feel things. That's what makes us human. So don't set the bar too high and don't strive for perfect, because you're never going to reach it. Strive to be content with yourself. I think
Yeah. On a totally unrelated note, the day that this gets published will be my birthday.
Yes, that is the goal. So everyone, please, I am tagging Sophia in the post that promotes this episode. So please follow her, reach out to her, and wish her a happy birthday. This Mama Jamma is turning 19, which is insane.
Yes, ma'am.
So please wish her the happiest birthday ever. And yeah, I think that about wraps up this episode. So Sophia, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I promise this one will be published. I promise. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.